Root Mobile, Session Partner IAB Tech Lab in partnership with Pubmatic, Gold Partner LogicServe Digital, Session Partner Agre, Bronze Partner Bubble AI, and Knowledge Partner Kantar. Well, time for the last but definitely the most awaited panel discussion on influencer marketing strategy to drive action beyond awareness. I would like to introduce you to the exciting lineup of the speakers now. The moderator for the session is Manish Swami, Senior Vice President, Creative Communication, Social and PR, Logic Serve Digital. And joining him, Udit Malhotra, Head Marketing, MG Motor India, Prateek Malpani, Head of Brand, Wakefit, Virat Sheth, Co-founder and CEO, Monk Entertainment, and Asta Shah, digital creator and influencer with over 200,000 followers. Over to you, Manish.
Yeah, so we have a celeb in the panel today. So hello everyone, and very I would say happy to see smiling faces on a Friday week, almost as we call the EOD of sorts. Happy to host this panel. You guys are on mute in case anyone will speak. You'll have to kind of unmute. So very excited. So Asta, Udit, Viraj, Pratik.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So okay. So it's a very interesting topic and something that I love to create content and right now influencer marketing is one of the I think the coolest buzzword around. There is a lot of success stories that people are talking about, brands are talking about, fans are talking about. Okay, so I would like to take this conversation ahead and my to kickstart this discussion, I want to kind of first ask you guys. So yes, influencer marketing. It's almost like people have accepted that for the first funnel, which is the awareness part. The effort that is put in, the monies that is put in, the time, the energy. Okay, is it justified? And your thoughts. So, Pratik, you want to kind of start the what do you think about it?
So see, I would sort of disagree that awareness is the only thing that influencer marketing solves. And I think I would also want to sort of correct and address that maybe we should stop calling influencers. Even if you see what Asta has written about herself, it's content creator and not influencer. So, and when content is at the heart of what you're doing right now, it doesn't just become about awareness, it's about engagement, right? And that's the primary objective that we should be chasing. And I'm talking about meaningful engagement, right? Engagement that creates brand love. So you can measure it by simply observing how many people have interacted with it, shared it. So you are hiring content, a content that influences. You are taking a space in someone's style of content. So the primary objective of that content is to engage people. So while awareness is something that you can achieve by simply being present, engagement with awareness is the real goal of influencer marketing. So we choose content creators to show a side of the brand that is not visible either through ads or through celebrities. So it makes the brand appear a bit more real and human. So it's I would not say that it is only just awareness. It is more to do with a slightly more subjective things like engagement, things like brand love, things like making the brand more real, and accessible.
Okay, thanks, Pratik, for saying that, and it comes as a how would I say, a validation from when a client is saying this. So, and I'm sure Asta was kind of smiling when you were saying that. Um, Viraj, I want to kind of check with you because you kind of manage all the sec a celeb influencers in the space, right? So what do you think about it? Is it uh, you know it kind of only takes the awareness part of it, or is there more?
See, honestly, if it was only going to tackle the awareness angle of it, influencers or creators would be out of business in no time. Because after the first pilot campaign, the brand managers would realize that this is all faff and there is no point spending money on influencers or creators. So let's just like divert our money somewhere else and probably maybe just get like a a creator like a cricketer like a Rohit Sharma, or like a Cat B Bollywood actor actress who may have wider reach even in tier 2 tier 3 cities than normal creator with 1 million followers on Instagram. But the fact remains to be that a lot of D2C brands and most brands that have now gone digital, and especially because of the pandemic, they've had to for very valid reasons, have picked the have rode the whole influencer marketing wave and the content marketing wave, and have realized that, hey, this is not just helping us build a better brand because we're able to feed off of the loyalty and popularity that the influencers have created for themselves. We're also able to generate leads and traffic and legitimate registrations or app downloads for our own brand. So they're not only spending for just awareness, they're also getting results in return, which is actually offsetting their branding or marketing costs in a sense. So even if they say spend 10 rupees on an influencer and generate 10 rupees of revenue, they're essentially waiving off the costs of their marketing, which they would spend by working with a big celebrity who may or may not guarantee any kind of sales. Or at least you may not be able to track it via mediums like billboards and TV ads and whatnot. So here you're actually able to gauge and track your ROI. That's like the biggest pro of the digital medium. You're immediately able to gauge that, boss, okay, XYZ influencer, through the unique link that we sent to them, were able to generate XYZ amount of leads or traction to our website or landing page. And that's what's sort of helping brands build much longer term partnerships with creators. You're seeing like a lot of the folks that we work with have been doing year-long deals with certain brands purely because the brands see the value in engaging with creators time and again. One of the creators we represent, Bionic, actually did 2 seasons of the web series Office Canteen with the same brand upgrade within a span of 6 months. And again, they wouldn't come back and spend the monies that they did if they were not to find any tangible results beyond just awareness. Honestly, Upgrade is fairly is a fairly popular brand for them to just spend so much in in search of awareness only. So there were direct leads that were generated. There was actually a lot of uptake both in Google search results, even on the Play Store they were trending. And besides that, their cart value is like 1 lakh per user. I think the courses they sell are, a lot of them are like master's courses. So for them to get that kind of traction and tangible results was fantastic, and they're already looking to invest in a third season for the same. So all these, the true value of any client is in repeat business, and if none of that were to be true, like repeat business would not come through. So I feel like that's the biggest sort of indicator to the fact that influencer marketing is not just pure awareness, it is also leads. But in saying that, I'd like to give a disclaimer to brands so that expectations are set, right? That do not expect the lead generation to the tune of a performance marketing campaign, because again, there are different purposes that are served by influencer marketing as opposed to performance marketing. Influence marketing is still more awareness heavy than just lead generation. So look at it from that lens.
Sure. Thanks, Viraj. So I think Udit was kind of itching to say something. Udit, do you want to kind of have a point of view?
See, I think before even getting into awareness consideration or something else, the fundamental question that arises why people are adopting influencer marketing is because of authenticity. See, all of these influencers are operating in their set communities. Okay, so no matter how many dollars you spent on your advertisement, beyond the point, beyond your product truth, what you're leveraging the influencer or the creator is for his or her community, because they relate to the influencer, thereby they entrust your product. And that's where the conversation or the engagement or whatever KPI one is trying to measure becomes relevant. And I would say it's not to do always with leads or or any kind of bottom funnel KPIs only. It depends on what you set out for as the objective for the campaign. So for me, why we entrust influencer marketing per se as MG India would be to also drive trust and transparency. Maybe because that's one of the reasons why people flout to influencer channels rather than just being present on brand channels. Why don't you get that much engagement on your social pages vis-a-vis what an influencer gets? Because there is a sense of relatability, because there is a sense of authenticity that the influencer can actually go ahead and drive for you, which no matter how many customer testimonials or reviews and ratings you may post, still there's a lack of trust. So I think influencer marketing firstly solves for the lack of trust at some point in time, where there's a sense of authenticity that is being driven, and obviously whether awareness, conversion, KPI, social commerce, whatever you may say, that can be decided between an agency and the brand person, that what do you want to achieve out of it. And like Virat said, if it was a fad, nobody would actually go ahead and do repeat campaigns, because there is a circle of influence. Now how you measure it is up to you. So I think that's my point of view on this one.
Okay, thanks. It was so. I was very happy to hear comments. I wish we get more clients like you on board. Okay, so the next question I want to kind of ask, specifically from a content creation perspective, and this is to you, Asta. So I'm sure as marketeers, as content creators, everybody talks about great case studies, right? Saying that, okay, we have done this, we have done that, we have achieved this. Okay, rarely you hear people talking about the challenges, okay, and the failures that you kind of went through while creating something, right? So can you talk about some of those challenges that you face, when you create content?
So initially, when you start creating content, you're building an audience. Like initially, when you start something, you feel that okay, fine. For example, I started with motivational content. I built an audience around motivational content. But then you cannot just keep putting that, because I think it gets a little monotonous. So you need to be a little versatile. So I think that's when the challenges come in, when you shift from something motivational, for example, when you shift into fashion or something comedy or relatable, your audience does not always be okay with it. And that's when you kind of face challenges over there. Also, when it comes to your own creativity, not every follower or not every audience is going to like what you're doing. But I think you should keep doing what you're doing, because eventually it's inside you, and that's why you started content creation. So it's okay. Everyone has ups and downs, but you should continue doing what you're doing.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So, Pratik, I want to kind of, because as a custodian of a brand, which I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, is like a digital first brand, right? Like, a very unique product which you specifically create content for the social and the digital audience, right? I'm sure you've done series of campaigns. Would you like to kind of share some insights and some challenges that you might face, and which might be become like a launch pad for other guys who are watching it right now?
See, definitely. I mean, we've had all kinds of campaigns that have gone viral on WhatsApp, whether it is during the lockdown when we did something called as Bartan Doliye, which came out from a very strong insight. And even over there, we chose content creators not because they had a clout, but because they have a following, or because they were known for a certain kind of content. And that's the reason we sort of went ahead with Sumit Vyas. Because he had that kind of an image, he had that kind of a he was best suited for the content. Similarly, when we were trying to launch the sleep internship part 2, right, and it always becomes a challenge for us to do better from what we did last time, because the construct is such, right, it is so exciting, that how do you try to beat it? And which is when we got Yashraj Mukhate on board, right? And the kind of response that we got because of the content that he created, it was not an ad. It was a full-blown 3-minute song, which and the fact that the brand messaging came only towards the end. The entire song spoke about just the love of sleeping. That I am Soneme expert. So these are the kind of campaigns that we've done in the past that have given us. Great leads that have given us good returns that have solved for engagement. So I mean that is what I can talk to you about. So I can just say that you can attribute engagement, views, shares, but the thing about content versus an ad, that it has to be consistent, and you can't measure content with a TV ad or a bumper or a YouTube. So just try to solve for what you are going to go with an objective, as Udit also mentioned. That try to just be clear in your head what objective you wanted to achieve, and the rest will follow if the content is good.
Okay, so Viraj, taking a cue from what Pratik is saying, see, because as you said, you have a big roster of how would I say, like, celebrated influencers, right? You have a lot of learnings, and is it, like, I'm sure there might be cases where you thought this content piece with this certain influencer will definitely work, and it didn't kind of work, or it didn't kind of create the impact that you were looking for.
Right.
In those kind of cases, how do you kind of move on, and how do you kind of convince your partner, which is your client, to say that, okay, let's kind of do something else?
So, I mean, it happens, well, like even with all the kind of intelligence we have in terms of the insights and data from the creators, the kind of work that they've done in the past, the kind of leads they've generated for similar brands in the past, there's always situations once in a while where we're not able to sort of completely satisfy the client in terms of the expectations that they had. And which is why we like to keep the expectations very clear with a lot of the clients that we work with. We keep a certain minimum guarantee of viewership at the bare minimum, that hey, you know what, like I like, and again, we don't guarantee leads naturally, because that's not
Mm.
something we possibly can do. It's not performance marketing, but at least in terms of viewership, which is something that the creator should sort of vouch for, and that's what the client is coming for initially. That's the primary purpose, to generate more eyeballs and more viewership. We keep that very transparent and clear with the client. In case for some reason the video tanked and it was not able to perform well, what we do is, from our end, and we have that rapport with our roster of creators and wider network of associate creators that we work with, that if we don't achieve this viewership, we will give extra deliverables. Now, if that is in terms of helping them compensate in terms of the views that were committed, if we committed 1 million views, we only achieved 500K. Let's do 2 videos that give them 500K views each. Because again, I know everyone talks about long-term relationships and all that bullshit, but we really want to honor that, because I know that tomorrow one client talks with me or does not go back home happy. That client speaks to 10 other friends of theirs that were in their MBA batch, who are now brand managers in 10 other brands, and they're not going to work with that creator or that agency. So the goal is always to sort of ensure that he, in some way or form, go out of the way to help the client, so that again tomorrow, when the brand manager or the CMO has to, you know, sort of speak to the board or the founder, they're able to cover up for themselves as well in the right way. We don't want them to honestly look bad for a bet that they took on us by trusting us. So I feel like that's something we like to keep clear right from the beginning. And we're quite like on, we have a decent hold on the creators and trust between them as well, where they are very open to the fact that they don't throw any tantrums if they underperform in terms of the deliverables that they
Mm.
had
Mm.
committed. So I mean, that's the way to go about it.
Sure, sure. Thanks for sharing that. Uh, Asta, I want to kind of ask, you specifically this, and maybe Viraj can kind of, also chip in. With the like, like ASCI kind of uh, kept a new set of guidelines, right? Keeping the user